Hello students, welcome back to FineGap YouTube channel. In today's video, we are diving into one of the most important concept in React, which is JSX. If you are just starting with React, or even if you have been using it for a while, understanding JSX is crucial. So by the end of this video, you will exactly know what JSX is, how it works, and why it's a game changer for writing React applications. And we will even get hands-on experience with some practical applications. So without any delay, let's start. So currently you can see that I have created a basic reactjs application in my computer. So for example, this function is returning something like null. If you notice that this is not an HTML file, this is a JavaScript files. If you see the extension, which is JSX, stands for TypeScript. So somehow this file is made for writing JavaScript or TypeScript code inside this. But when we build user interfaces, we often need to use HTML tags to create a user interface. So here JSX comes in. JSX stands for JavaScript XML. It is a syntax extension for JavaScript that allows us to write HTML-like code directly inside our JavaScript files. For example, if you notice that we have an app function here, you can also call this a component in React. So for example, if I type here, let title is equal to, and here if I will type here h1 hello world, okay, and simply that's it. And what we can do, we can type here return title. First of all, let me run this application. So I will open the terminal. You can open the terminal by clicking on terminal and new terminal. Maybe you will see this option somewhere on the top section. So because I have zoom in my screen, so that's why I have to do this to open my terminal. So once you open your terminal, you simply need to type this command npm run dev and just press enter. It will run your application on a specific URL. Now I need to open my browser and paste the same URL here, or you can directly control and click on it. So you can see that hello world is printing on our screen. So the question is, why we do not see any error? We directly save this HTML inside our variable and we are directly returning this because we are using JSX. So this is not an HTML, but this is a JSX which looks more similar to HTML. So the key benefit of using JSX is we can write directly, you can say HTML in our JavaScript code, and then on compile time, once your application will make a build, for example, so these HTML tags will be converted into JavaScript code. So maybe on the runtime your code will be this code will be converted to like this, like const or let title is equal to react dot create element, and here first of all I will type my element name. The second parameter would be null and the third parameter would be the content for our tag. So now let's assume you need to create many tags. So if you are not using JSX, so inside your JavaScript you have to write very complicated code to create your HTML, to put content inside your HTML, and even to so then it will become very difficult for you to handle your HTML. But once we use JSX, we can directly write our HTML inside our JavaScript files. So now let's move toward more practical. For example, let me remove this from here, and inside your return statement you can also write here, for example, you can directly type here hello programmers. If I save this, open my browser and refresh, so you can see that everything is working very fine. But let me tell you one thing. For example, if you will try to type second thing, for example a lorem ipsum paragraph, and then you will refresh, you will see that your application is displaying you an error. So this is because if you are using more than one HTML element, then these elements should be wrapped in an empty div. For example, like this. Maybe it can be an empty div, maybe you have a class for this, but all of your content should be wrapped in a single div elements. Okay, so if you do not want to create an empty div, you can create an empty fragment like this. Fragment is just like an HTML tag with no tag name. Like you can see that this is our closing fragment and this was our opening fragment, but now you will see that the error is gone. And obviously JSX have some rules, you need to study them before using them. For example, in HTML, if you want to give a class to any HTML element, you will simply type class is equal to title. Okay, but now if you notice that it is giving us an error. Okay, it is not displaying error here, but still if you notice that it is giving an error and your application may be not working correctly, because class is a JavaScript reserved word, so you cannot use this. So if you are working with JSX, you need to type here class name. Okay, so obviously as I told you that it is same like HTML but not fully like HTML, so you will find many other attributes that you will require to write in camel case. So obviously you need to read the syntax for JSX because it may be 10 to 20% different from HTML, because we are directly writing our HTML inside our JavaScript. So the developers of JSX, you need to write the documentation. For as I already told you that you cannot use the class keyword, but you have to use the name class name in camel case to give a class to your any of your HTML element. So the next question is, for example, if you want to insert some JavaScript inside your JSX, how you will do that? Let me show you with an example. For example, you have a let username, or you have a user is equal to Fahim, and let me press here semicolon. So this is my JavaScript variable which contain a string value, a username, and for example you want to display here instead of hello, so you simply need to type these curly brackets like this. Okay, and you will simply press user, and obviously inside your this JSX your JavaScript will be printed. Let me show you. So you can see that hello Fahim. So if I change Hassan, and if I save this by pressing Ctrl S, you can see that hello Fahim Hassan. So this was hello viewers. Okay, so you can see that hello viewers. Obviously it was a spelling mistake a little bit, please ignore this, but this is how you can write JavaScript inside your JSX. Maybe you can write conditions or and other JavaScript too. So for example, let's suppose you have a count variable which contain 3 value and you want to display, okay, let me type here 2. So then for example you want to display here users, so what you have to put some conditions here. So let me type here if count, you cannot use if statement inside your JSX. So this is again a rule, so please remember this. But instead of if statement, we have some other techniques. For example, this inline if statement, if I type here if count is greater than 1, then you simply need to put here hello users. Otherwise, let me again press bracket here, and here I will create a p element. Otherwise we need to, if user is less than or equal to 1, maybe equal to 1, so then we need to display user. So now let me refresh, so you can see that hello users is printing, obviously because p is a block level element, that's why it is displaying on the next line. But now for example if I type here 1 and if I refresh, so you can see that hello user. So that's how you can type your JavaScript inside your JSX. One more important thing to understand is you cannot ignore the closing tags. For example, let me remove this whole thing and this whole thing as well. So for example, we have an HTML tag like this, okay, and if I type here hello world, and obviously this will work very fine, but for example you forgot the closing tag. Okay, now let me save this, and if I refresh, so you can see that it is displaying us an error. Or for example, maybe you have an input element like this, input, and type it would be text, but you only forgot to write this forward slash inside your input. So again you can see that it is displaying us an error. So make sure you need to properly open and close the tags to work with JSX. So this is not HTML that you will ignore this forward slash and every your page will work very fine. So this is, you have to be curious while working with JSX. So friends, that's it. I hope that this video will give you some understanding of JSX in React, and we went through what JSX is, how it works under the hood, and how to use it with practical examples. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for React content. And obviously we have another content on our YouTube channel as well, so please watch our channel. And if you have any question, you can ask us in the comment section. We will try to answer your question, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And finally, thanks for watching.